Kangen water.
He has a truly remarkable and complicated water regulating system that rations water when it's in short supply until it receives unmistakable signals that it has access to an adequate supply. The problem is that some organs, like the brain, are higher on the priority list for water than others. Symptoms are the result of stressed organs that are dehydrated. This is much the same type of signal your car would give if the cooling system were overheating while climbing a steep hill. In both cases, if proper measures are not taken, a breakdown can occur.
Well, most people know that the human body is about 75% water. And one of the ways I like to explain that and put it in perspective for the average person is to say that we take that 10 gallons of water out of a 150-pound person and we dump it into a fish tank. And when you put it in a fish tank, you add your fish, and then you have to start feeding the fish. So we're going to dump our fish food in the top. We're going to let the fish swim over and eat the fish food, and then they're going to digest that food and use it for energy, and then they're going to put the waste back out into the water. And what happens is over time the fish keep doing that process. We keep feeding them, they keep eating, they keep pooping, and pretty soon that water gets really dirty. Now, most of us know that when the fish start to get sick, something has to happen. So we have to change the water. The cells in the body are just like that, just like the fish, in that they too are fed by the water that they swim around in or are bathed by. We call it interstitial fluid. And that water basically has to be carrying in the food, carrying in the oxygen to each individual cell, and it helps carry it through the cell wall, just like the fish has to get on the inside, and it's metabolized, and then the waste are expelled back out into the interstitial fluid, or the fish tank if you want to think of it that way. And the secret to health is the efficiency at which you do that process, taking the good things in, getting rid of the bad things.
When asked how much water they drink each day, most people answer, not enough. We know that we should drink more water, but most of us don't make it a high enough priority. In fact, many people are confused as to how much water a person is supposed to drink.
Mainly a lot of patients that come in, they have a lot of constipation problems, and it's because they don't drink water. And so it's very common when they come in. A lot of times they haven't had a bowel movement, sometimes only once a month, and that's hard to believe, you know, how they've gone that long, but we see it all the time. And then I ask them, well, how much water do you drink? Well, maybe a glass, you know, a day, maybe a glass of water a week. I drink a lot of tea, coffee, things like that, which is diuretic, so that makes them more constipated.
Most doctors will tell you that we should drink 8 8-ounce glasses of water per day. But is it a one-size-fits-all answer? Common sense would indicate that a 250-pound person would need more water to maintain their 75% hydration level than a 125-pound person. And what about someone who is very physically active or someone who works in a hot climate versus a person that is sedentary and perhaps stays indoors the majority of the time?
Think of the last time that you went out and exercised really hard. Maybe it was intentional at the gym, maybe it was unintentional, maybe you just went for a hike with some friends and got into a more serious hike than you intended. Think back to how you felt the next morning after that physical exertion. And many of you will relate to the person who could hardly roll out of bed. The muscles were screaming, everything hurt. And the reason for that is pain and inflammation that's caused by an accumulation of lactic acid and other metabolic wastes. The body was not able to eliminate those as quickly as they were being produced. So the end result is you don't feel good. End result is you're sick and you're stiff and you have joint and muscle inflammation, and you know, life is not fun. Now, depending on how efficient your body is over time at getting rid of those depends on how long it takes you to recover from that exertion. And one of the neat things is by putting the best water in the body, and the best fuels in the body, we can recover from that process very quickly and very efficiently.
So my experience with the Kangen alkaline water was actually pretty amazing. My husband came to me a day before my triathlon race, and he recommended that I drink the water. And I said, water's just water. And he said, just try it. So myself and two of my friends tried the water the day before the race and during the race. And I didn't prepare as well as I should have or could have, but I did drink the water. We all had our best race times. We were so impressed. We had less fatigue. Muscle soreness was almost nothing. Usually after a race, I'll come home and I want to sleep. We actually went to dinner and we had a full day playing with the dogs in the park, so it was really amazing that water is just not water.
Many healthcare experts now recommend that you drink a minimum of 1/2 of your total body weight in ounces of water each day. One reason that people don't drink enough water is that all too often water just doesn't taste very good, so we drink other beverages instead of plain water. Unfortunately, many of these beverages are polluting our internal environment and reducing our body's thirst mechanism in the process. And then there's the problem of how clean and safe the water is to drink. It seems that every few days we hear about another pollutant being found in our water. Chemicals are being put into the water supply by the water treatment facilities across the nation, most of which are not good for us. Then we learn that every time someone takes a pharmaceutical or flushes unused drugs down the toilet, they end up in our water supply as well. This problem has led to one of the largest new industries in America, the bottled water industry.
In the early 90s, I had the chance to go to Japan and see the technology that we're talking about used in clinical applications in hospital settings. And I saw some things that made me stand back and really evaluate some of the things I'd been taught about medicine and health. And I saw water doing things there that blew my mind. And as a result of that trip and seeing some of those miracles with people who had things like eczema and psoriasis and diabetes and neuropathy, I came back with a strong desire to get one of these machines and have the water available to use in my clinic and to share with my patients and friends and family and myself. And so I came back and I bought a water ionizer, and I have to be honest, I was very disappointed in the results. I gave a lot of water away and people just didn't notice any difference, and I really couldn't say that I did either. Treating some of the people with those terrible skin conditions, even acne, it didn't seem like the water was making any difference. So I knew that at that point that ionizers were not all created equally. So that began a search for me and a journey of looking for and finding the best ionizer out there that would accomplish what I wanted it to accomplish to help the most people with the most health challenges. So as a result of that journey, I have gone from one machine to another. I've actually, over the last several years, purchased I've purchased 7 water ionizers from different manufacturers. And I will say some work a little bit better than others, but none really, truly did for my patients and myself what I expected. So I was a little bit disheartened, actually, and I thought, well, they just must have something really special in these machines that are made for the hospitals and the clinics and on a big scale, and we just can't get those in a consumer-sized version here in the United States. But in July of 2006, I was invited to a meeting that was a celebration, actually, that was being done by a company called Enagic, and went to Los Angeles, California, met the president of the company there, Mr. Oshiro, and although I wasn't able to understand everything that was being said in Japanese because the meeting was in Japanese, I tried the water and I knew there was something special about that water. I could taste it, I could see the difference, I could feel the difference in my body. And after drinking the water, I slept more sound than I had in a long time. I have to be honest with you, I've never had a lot of health conditions and or challenges, but I slept better and I woke up with less sleep, feeling fully rested and energized, and I had even more energy than normal. And that got me excited. So I bought a machine that following day and got one in my clinic and started giving water away. And I have to tell you, it's just been an absolute miracle what I've seen since. Patients are coming in and getting water. They're bringing their friends in. They're bringing in their family. And they're taking water home and drinking it. And they're coming back and saying, I got to have some more magic water. And when you ask them what they're noticing, everything from I see I'm using less insulin if they're diabetic, I'm having less pain, I have better sleep, I'm not as depressed, I'm not as anxious. The things they're telling me is absolutely phenomenal. And I've come to realize just how important this foundational part of our body really is. You know, we are 75% water, and we overlook it, we take it for granted. And as I see the changes occurring in patients, what I'm coming to realize more and more every day is that the water is the key. All the other things are secondary. The water is in nature the greatest solvent. The water is the solution in which all chemical reactions take place in the body. The water is the foundation, and as people drink it, amazing things take place inside their body. Rather than grab one more pill or one more medicine or one more herb or one more anything, you know, maybe stop and think about, what could I do if I just drank a little bit more water? And particularly the right water, because it does make a big difference.
Drink Kangen water and experience the difference for yourself.
Putting this wonderful water in your body absolutely is one of the best preventive maintenance things that I personally know of, and I recommend it to everybody that I talk to.